Good evening and welcome to the 21st Annual Newport Beach Fire and Lifeguard Appreciation Dinner. I'm Steve Rosansky, President and CEO of the Newport Beach Chamber of Commerce, and I want to welcome you to our event this evening. It's going to be great. We're here at the Marriott Hotel in Fashion Island. It's a beautiful weather tonight. We're going to have a great sunset. We got the ocean view. Everything's firing on all cylinders, and we're looking forward to a fantastic evening. We have over 300 people here tonight. It's actually been sold out for weeks now, and we're looking forward to our guests arriving. I do want to give a big shout out to a couple of our sponsors here tonight. So Gary Sherwin over at Newport Beach & Company, I want to thank you. I want to thank Debbie Snavely, the general manager of the Marriott Hotel. Without her, we couldn't put on such a fantastic event. Unfortunately, both of them are not here. They're in China trying to bring more business to the city of Newport Beach. So hopefully they'll get to see this video afterwards, and I want to express my sincerest thank you to both of them for helping make our event as great as it's going to be. This year we've added a fourth award. The Civilian of the Year is going to be announced tonight at the dinner, and so we're looking forward to seeing who that is. As a special treat tonight, we have a guest host MC, Michelle Gilly from KCAL 9. You probably have all seen her on TV covering news stories here in Newport Beach, and she's going to be our special MC presenter tonight for the top four medal or honor recipients. So I found our fire chief, Chip Duncan, out here in the crowd. So this is your second year doing the Fire and Lifeguard event here at the Marriott Hotel. So why don't you tell everybody what this event means to the fire department?
Well, this is really the one time a year we kind of stop and take a deep breath and give acknowledgement to all of our folks that are doing wonderful things out there. And one of the things, too, that we want to focus on this year is we tend to call out people who have done some amazing things out there as far as rescues and things like that. This year we took a little bit different approach with some of our other acknowledgements with how well they supported our mission of safety, service, and professionalism. If you look at all of our fire apparatus, our lifeguard vehicles, they all have safety, service, professionalism on there. That's our operating principles. So that's kind of like our version of Semper Fidelis. That's kind of what we hold people accountable to. So we took a look at some of our people that really support that safety, service, and professionalism and the things they do in the community. So tonight, some of our other awards, the unit citations and the life-saving ones, obviously, but some of the lower, not shouldn't say lower, some of the different awards kind of focus more on that.
Great. Well, it's always great to hear the stories that are behind the awards and why the recipients are getting it. So there's the kind of the medals of valor. I don't remember exactly what we call them, but then there's the of the year people. How are those people selected? It's like the firefighter of the year, the lifeguard of the year, seasonal lifeguard of the year, and I think civilian of the year, which is a new or came back this year.
Right. So let's start with civilian of the year. So we actually, in the past, we've done this before, and for some reason that nobody seems to remember, even old guys like me, can't remember why we actually got rid of it or just didn't do it. So we brought it back this year, and we basically
it was the recession. Everybody had to cut back a little bit. Yeah.
Probably, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was before my time in staff, so I'm not accountable for that one. So. The critical thing is we want to acknowledge some of our staff people because they work very hard to support the fire department, the fire operations, the lifeguard operations part, and sometimes they kind of get lost in the shuffle. So we're happy that award's back. The office staff and the chief officers and staff picked that person. So they had a lot of scrutiny on them to get that award. So that's pretty cool that they brought it back, and the person that got it's very deserving of that. I'm not going to reveal that yet.
Yeah, I know who it is, and he is very deserving.
You have the envelopes and all that, right? We've been counted.
Sure.
So, and then Firefighter of the Year, Lifeguard of the Year, and Seasonal Lifeguard of the Year actually are their peers that select them.
Oh, okay.
And basically,
so not the management. It's the guys on the line down in the fire
exactly.
stations.
The rank and file folks, they pick those people out, and they pick them for different reasons. You know, one year based on things they may have done in the community. One year, maybe they may have done something fantastic on a call. So it kind of changes from year to year what the criteria is. But it's definitely their peers. We have management has nothing to do with it.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to a great evening, and
it's always a great evening.
I've already sampled the crab cakes. They're just out of this world, so I suggest you go get one.
I will. Thank you. Thanks,
right.
and thank you to the Chamber for putting this on.
Our pleasure, and the Commodores Club.
And the Commodores, correct.
Which you are one.
I am one.
6 feet underground, oh, safe and sound.
So I have Mayor Pro Tem Will O'Neill here with me. He's filling in for Mayor Duffy Duffield. I hear Duffy's like cruising on some mega yacht in the Mediterranean somewhere. Is that the truth of the rumor?
Well, I think he's looking at other harbors, making sure ours stack up nicely.
Oh, so a little research. Is that what we're calling it? I just hope he's not there on the city's dime. In any event, thank you for coming tonight and filling in. I know you're going to do a little bit of thanking the fire department, but what does this event mean, and the fire department, our lifeguards, to the city council?
Well, clearly the fire department and lifeguards mean an enormous amount to the city council. We're one of those few cities in Orange County to still have a full-service fire department, and especially given what's been going on in the state of California this year with the number of times we've been sending out our strike teams, I have to say we're certainly sending them out more than we like, but we certainly like our strike teams.
Right, they've been at some of the major fires up in Northern California and then other parts of California as well.
They have. In fact, our Assistant Chief, Jeff Boyles, has been there and was there when one of the firefighters in another agency tragically lost his life, and so it puts a lot of their job in perspective for us.
Really? Well, he's here tonight. Maybe we'll get a little interview out of him and he can tell us exactly about some of his experiences. Well, again, I want to thank you for supporting the event and being here tonight, and I'm sure you're going to do a great job, and we're looking forward to your words of wisdom to the assembled crowd.
Thanks, Steve.
I have with me Bobby Salerno, a good friend of mine, but also president of the Newport Beach Firefighters Association. Bobby works with most of the guys that'll be here tonight accepting awards, and I was talking a little bit about it with the chief earlier, but maybe you'll tell us a little bit about how some of the year guys were selected.
Well, every year around May, the Firefighters Association votes. And we vote to pick the Firefighter of the Year, which is a person who has donated time to the community, participated in charitable events, and done a lot of great things for the Newport Beach Fire Department. This year we selected firefighter paramedic Joe Harrison.
Oh, great. Well, so it's not just running up and down the ladder. I mean, you have to be kind of a well-rounded fireman to get this honor.
Yes, there's a lot more to it.
A lot more to it.
Yes.
Well, that's great. I know they're all deserving. I'm sure it was probably a hard choice. I'm sure there's lots of guys that are deserving in the department, but we're glad to see that he's the recipient. Hopefully we'll get an interview with him at some point tonight as well.
Yes, I think so.
Thank you, Bobby. So, Matt Brisboy, good friend of mine, head of the Newport Beach CERT, Emergency Preparedness, PIO, Public Information Officer, for those who don't know what that means. I mean, you do it all, and now you are the Civilian of the Year for the fire department. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. It's really a big honor to be represented and be chosen by my peers to represent them here today, and I'm really honored. This award was resurrected. It's been away for a few years, and this is the first year it's bringing back, and I'm really excited to be the first recipient again.
It's almost like, you're the first.
You're kind of.
There's like a statute of limitations. Once you stop doing it for a while, now you become the first.
I guess
right?
I do in a way, and there's a lot that we got represented ahead of me, and it's nice to have it back in things and really be here representing the fire department in the city.
Not only are you Civilian of the Year, you are Dad of the Year because you just had a brand new baby, right?
Yes, I did. My wife had child number 4, and
Number 4?
Number
Whoa.
4. She's.
How do you have time to become Civilian of the Year and pop out all those kids?
Because my wife does all the work at home, and she's just wonderful with our children and things, and I'm really fortunate that she gives me the time to come here and serve the city.
Well, behind every great man is a great woman, right?
That's
for
definitely
sure.
correct.
And make sure you get a copy of this and show it to her.
Award tonight.
We should be giving her the award tonight. Well, thank you for doing what you do. I know you did a wonderful job with our joint event, our Green Expo and the Disaster Preparedness Expo. We look forward to working with you again and your people next year, and enjoy the night. It's your night.
And Steve, we really appreciate your support and the Chamber's support for all the employees here in Newport. So thank you for hosting another great event, recognizing all of us.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
So, Joe Harrison, how does it feel to be Firefighter of the Year?
I'm very honored.
Honored?
Very honored, yeah.
That's all? Just honored?
I feel great. It's been about 3 months since I was notified, and anytime I get selected by my own peers to receive this award, I'm very honored.
That's
Yeah.
great. So how long have you been with the fire department?
14 and a half years.
Oh, so a little while. Took a little while to get there, right?
Yeah.
Well, anything worth earning is worth waiting for,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it took a while, but it's worth it.
So I noticed you're wearing a boot down there. Is that a work-related injury, or?
No, this is something that happened at home. I wish it was something really glory.
Did the paramedics come and help you out, or no?
No, but this kind of backs up what I tell my wife. It's much safer for me to be at work.
It
than to be
is.
at home, so.
Well, I think we were talking about earlier, most accidents happen in the home, right?
Exactly,
You don't
yeah.
have to go very far to get injured. So
Yeah.
luckily we have you guys to come help us out when we do
Yeah.
have problems in our own homes.
The irony's pretty thick, but yeah.
Well, thank you for service to our city. You're deserving of the award, and have a great evening tonight.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So Mark Herman, how does it feel to be Lifeguard Supervisor of the Year?
It's a great honor. I've only been full-time now for 3 years. It took
3
me,
years?
took
3
me-
years and you're Lifeguard Supervisor of the Year?
But I have been with the department for 30 years now.
Oh, 30 years.
So, well, I've been here 30 years. I've been full-time 3 years.
So you must be a seasonal then.
I was
or
a
was.
seasonal up until 2015.
Excellent. So was there any exciting or special saves this year, or events on the beach that you want to tell us quickly about?
I had a few. I had one day where I had 6 cervical injuries, one of which happened to
Six?
be one of
On
which
6 different people?
6 different people throughout the day, 4
Wow.
that were transported to the hospital with mechanism and deficits. One was actually an employee that is now 3.5 weeks without having to wear a seat collar.
Oh, boy.
So that's pretty nice. And then
Well,
I also
hopefully he'll get well soon, yeah.
yeah. And so he's actually coming together. So
Good. Well, that's a busy day in any business.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you again for all that you do. I'm glad you're on full time now, so we can get your services 24/7.
Yeah.
And enjoy the party tonight.
I will. Thanks for having us.
So, Trent Koza, Seasonal
sir.
Lifeguard of the Year. How
Yes,
does it
sir.
feel to be honored by your fellow lifeguards?
Oh, it's a privilege. It's something I've always dreamed about. I didn't think I was going to get this recognition or anything like that. I just want to say thanks to everybody that made this, possible for me. Like I said, it's an honor. It's a privilege.
How many years have you been lifeguarding?
This is going to be my 6th summer. I just completed my 6th summer. I started when I was 16, back in 2013.
16, really?
Yes, sir. So
Wow.
I just turned freshly 21 in February. And
Did you have any spectacular saves this summer?
I can name a few. I think the one that comes to mind is it was my first year on the rescue boats this year.
Oh, really?
I spent a few days on the
So
rescue boats.
and you got to work a few years to work up to that, right? It's not like you can just jump on.
Yeah, you can wreck up to it a little bit. I was fortunate enough to get at least one day a week out there. So I was working at least one day, and I was working on Saturdays, and we got dispatched to a call down at Laguna Main Beach. So
Laguna. So you guys even travel down there?
Yes, so
Wow.
we got this call of a vessel in distress off of Laguna Main Beach, by Shaw's Cove to be exact. We found it at Shaw's Cove. Went code 3 all the way down to Shaw's Main Beach with Harbor Department and OC Sheriff in tow. We arrive and we actually find out it's one of the, we recognize the vessel. It's a
really?
vessel that we have a very personal relationship with.
Uh-oh.
I can't say names of whose vessel it was, but
Is he employed by the city?
I'm gonna keep,
Okay.
that's under wraps.
Mum's the word.
Full
Yeah.
disclosure,
Yeah.
But so we got on board, and the vessel was going down. It was sinking. A week before, we did lose a vessel already that we couldn't get to
Oh,
at the
wow.
time. So this is a pretty big save for us. So.
Excellent. So you got it back to the harbor safely
Yes,
and all
sir.
that?
We got it loaded up to the harbor. Took everything, made sure everyone on board was safe and sound, and
So we're even taking care of our people outside of the city.
Oh, of course, yeah. We try our best. I take every day. I go home and I do something. Whether I'm waking up in the morning, I figured do some small task and help somebody else.
Well, every day must be different. Every day must be exciting. So
that's the exciting. That's what we do. That's
well,
why
thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for doing what you do for our city, and enjoy yourself.
Thank you. I do. I will. Thank you guys again. Thanks for everyone on the city.
All right. So I found our board chair of the Newport Beach Chamber of Commerce, Sam Elraba, general manager of the only 4-star resort on our harbor. Actually, I think it's the only 4-star resort in town, right?
Well, there's another one.
We won't talk about that. They're over on near here, but it's the only one on the water. Anyway, Sam's a good friend of mine, runs an unbelievable hotel, is the chair of our board. So what does this event mean to our chamber?
That's been a lot, really appreciating the fire department, what they do for us, the lifeguard as well. So we're here to celebrate them and recognizing all the effort that they do for the community.
So have I know you probably get some fire inspections over there. Gets a little, dicey when you see those guys walking. But did you have any major calls, like some of your guests were in distress or anything like that happening?
Well, they always come in with any calls. Paramedic and the fire department is there. We really appreciate what they do, and they're always guiding us for the right direction.
Good evening, my name's Steve Rosansky. I'm President and CEO of the Newport Beach Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, thank you. Wow, I don't usually get an applause this early. I'd like to welcome you to the Newport Beach Marriott Hotel and Spa for the 21st Annual Fire and Lifeguard Appreciation Dinner. On behalf of the Newport Beach Chamber of Commerce, we are honored to have the privilege to organize and host this event. Honoring these heroes in our community dovetails with our mission to promote economic opportunity through business and community leadership and to enhance the social and civic environment of Newport Beach. Once again this year, the Newport Beach Marriott Hotel and Spa has rolled out the red carpet for our fire and lifeguard personnel. Tonight, we get the chance to express our gratitude and pride in our fire and lifeguard first responders by welcoming so many of these professionals to join us this evening. Undoubtedly, their efforts contribute to the safety and security we enjoy as business owners and residents in Newport Beach. In addition to the hospitality and dinner this evening, we'll be recognizing 4 very important individuals. The Civilian of the Year, which is it's actually not a new award, but it's an award that's come back. Lifeguard Supervisor of the Year, Seasonal Lifeguard of the Year, and Firefighter of the Year. And as a special treat, Lucille's Firehouse Barbecue has prepared gift baskets for each of the awardees in addition to the medals and trophies they will be receiving. I guess, smokehouse, barbecue, fire, that's appropriate, right? We will also be presenting some merit awards for special incidents throughout the past year. But before we head to dinner, we need to recognize the generous effort put forth by many of our partners and valued chamber members to make this evening special. With their support, we are able to provide complimentary attendance to this dinner for over 60 fire and lifeguard personnel. Yeah. So we have 2 very special presenting sponsors this evening, and it's unfortunate that neither of them could be here, but we're still going to give them their proper respect. So with Visit Newport Beach, it's President Gary Sherwin. Thank you, Gary, and his people are here at table 15 supporting the event. And I also want to thank, again, the Newport Beach Marriott Hotel and Spa and its general manager, Debbie Snavely. So Debbie loves this event. I mean, we could never, for what you guys are paying to be here tonight, we could not afford to put this event on. She significantly underwrites this event. If you look at the centerpieces in the middle of the table, she designed those with her designer here in the hotel, and she made them special for tonight. So it's not just something off the shelf. This was custom made for our event tonight. Both of them are in China right now. I think they're almost headed back. They're on a trade mission there to bring more tourists, more visitors here to keep this prosperous and just the awesome place that it is. So I won't read the rest of that. Additionally, our award sponsor and media sponsor tonight is Caliber Collision. They're sitting here at this table. Thank you, Caliber. We also want to thank the individuals and organizations and businesses listed in your program. You should all have one in front of you that have supported the department by sponsoring tables, allowing the fire and lifeguard personnel to receive complimentary seats tonight. Also, special thanks are in order for our, well, it says new assistant to the fire chief. She's not so new because she was here last year, but 1 year anniversary assistant to the fire chief, Erica Rivera. Where's Erica? Erica? There she is. She corrals all these firefighters and lifeguards, gets all the names, and does half the work for us. So thank you for making our job a lot easier. Within the Chamber of Commerce, the Commodores Club is a special group of chamber members who provide the leadership for many of the events the chamber organizes. So I want to thank all the Commodores for their involvement in our community throughout the year, and a very special thanks to Commodore DJ Martin, who's right over here, Connell Chevrolet. He's the guy that's with the walrus mustache. Can't miss DJ. He served as our event chairman, and he assisted with everything from sponsorships to table sales. DJ literally began laying the groundwork for tonight at last year's dinner. I heard him go up to people and say, how about a table for next year? So he's always working the crowd. And if all the Commodores would please rise and just be recognized. Commodores should be wearing, or most of them would be wearing their blazer and crest and tie tonight. Thank you. Some didn't. We're going to find them. We'll figure out an appropriate punishment for the ones that didn't wear their uniform tonight. But they do a yeoman's job in most of our events, including the Boat Parade Awards Dinner, which is our biggest event of the year, and we're in the midst of planning, and we're looking forward to about 3 months from now. But in addition to the over 650 business members of the Chamber, our organization's efforts are supported throughout the year by a special group of companies we call our Leadership Circle. Many of their representatives are here with us this evening, and the full list of Leadership Circle companies is printed on the back of your programs. I do want to recognize, though, some of our platinum and gold level members. So at the platinum level, and they're here with us tonight, all 4 of them, the Hoag Hospital. Hoag, where are you guys? Wave your hands. Hoag Hospital. Newport Beach and Company, up here in front. The Balboa Bay Resort, and Sam Elraba, the general manager. Also the chair of the Chamber of Commerce. And the Newport Beach Marriott Hotel and Spa is also a platinum member. Our gold members are Picoco LLC, the Newport Beach Police Association. I think they've got a table here somewhere tonight. And also West Coast Arborists, and my good friends Pat and Jolynn Mahoney are here tonight. So thank you for coming. And I also want to give just a quick shout out to our newest Leadership Circle members. They're at the silver level, Spinnaker Investments and Fashion Island Retail. Yeah, thank you. So now I got about a page of VIPs, and then we'll almost be done. So first off, we have tonight, unfortunately Duffy couldn't be here tonight, but we do have our Mayor Pro Tem Will O'Neill. We also have with us former Mayor and Council Member Diane Dixon and Kevin Muldoon. Council Member Jeff Herdman. Former Mayor Rush Hill. Our newly minted, 2 weeks on the job, City Manager Grace Leung. Grace. Former City Manager, now outgoing Citizen of the Year, Homer Bludow, over here. Assistant City Manager Carol Jacobs. Carol, somewhere, hopefully. City Attorney Aaron Harp. Aaron. City Clerk Leilani Brown. Fire Chief Chip Duncan. Chip will be up here a little bit later. Our police chief, who's every year he's envious of this event now, John Lewis. we give him a pretty awesome event, though, too, in March for Police and Fire Breakfast. Community Development Director Simone Georges. Simone, back there. Human Resources Director Barbara Salvini. Barbara. Harbor Commissioners Dave Gerling, Paul Blank, Ira Beer, Scott Cunningham, John Drayton, and Skip Kenny. All the Harbor Commissioners here tonight. Our Library Commissioner Paul Watkins. Paul, also a Citizen of the Year. Civil Service Board Chair Robin Grant. She told me she was the chair tonight. She's also my sister, for those of you who don't know. Civil Service Board members Howard Herzog, Bobby Fessler, and Sharon Wood. I introduced him a little earlier, the chair of our board, Sam Elraba, with the Balboa Bay Resort. Our next person couldn't be here tonight. Skipper of the Commodores Club, Chandler Bell. His wife was ill and out in the desert, so I told him better to stay with her. So, but how about a round of applause anyway for our skipper, Chandler Bell. President of the Newport Beach Firefighters Association, Bobby Salerno. President of the Newport Beach Lifeguard Managers Association, Gary Conwell's here with us tonight too. So that's our VIPs. So as we prepare to head to dinner, and a member of the Newport Beach Chamber Commoners Club, as well as a former Citizen of the Year, Rush Hill. So if Rush would come up here and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
It's an honor for me to come up here tonight at a time when I think it's terribly important to show our allegiance to our country, our patriotism, and to spread that, to also communicate thanks to our first responders that keep us safe 24/7. So I would ask you to follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Begin now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and please be seated.
Thank you, Rush. Now it's time for dinner. Again, a very special thanks to Debbie Snavely, General Manager of the hotel, for making this event a success from start to finish. You'll see the incredible menu her team has prepared for us tonight. And we'll take a little break now for dinner, and we'll come back a little later with our program. Thank you.
I guess last time for me to get I feel the sign. You decide your lipstick mark.
So before we get started with our awards, I'd like for all the Newport Beach Fire and Lifeguard personnel to please stand for a round of applause from our other guests. All of you, come on. There's at least 60 or 70 of you, so I want to see 60 or 70. We're going to bring up Will O'Neill now. He's going to say a few words on behalf of the city. So Will, why don't you come up and join us? Big round of applause for Will O'Neill, Mayor Pro Tem.
Well, thank you very much, Steve. You know, some of you in the audience have participated in Fire Ops 101. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's essentially a program that teaches some of the city leaders what it's like to be a firefighter in an extremely controlled environment. Car extractions using the jaws of life, putting out a very small fire, crawling through a smoke-filled room. And even this past weekend, I'll just point out, our new city manager, Grace Leung, got to don the uniform and go through the program. And yeah, fortunately, I'll just say real quickly before we give a round of applause, fortunately for the chief, she made it through unscathed. So, and just on a quick side note, I love hearing about the competitive spirit every time we have one of those Fire Ops 101. Our finance committee member, Joe Stapleton, was just about to go climb up the ladder when our chief leaned over and said, you know, Robin Grant did it in full gear. And he couldn't put that on fast enough, and he got all the way up. And one other thing, kudos to our Parks, Beach, and Rec committee member, Laird Hayes, who went up less than a year after getting double hip surgery. And I've found out from Aaron he did sign all the waivers, so that was appreciated. You know, Fire Ops 101 really is only a snippet, of course, of what our firefighters go through. And that's been driven home this year as we've witnessed the Mendocino County Complex Fire, the Carr Fire, Holy Fire, Ranch Fire, just to name a few. And it's clearly been driven home to all of us, just the amount of service that you provide to our city, to our county, to our state, and indeed to our nation. And while the strike teams have been gone far more than we'd like, boy, we sure like our strike teams. And we love that you got home safely. We're also really excited. We were really excited this year to welcome back go through the remodel on Station 8. We're really excited to welcome back our firefighters into the rebuild of Station 5. And I'll bet a few of you are excited about starting the rebuild on Station 2. You heard that clap? That's the person who's at Station 2. We're also really excited to continue moving forward on the drawings for our junior lifeguard building, I know that that'll certainly take some time to get through coastal, build up some community support, and then no doubt it will end up being one of our true gems inside of our city. And then finally, on behalf of our City Council, I'd like to congratulate those receiving special recognition tonight: Joseph Harrison, Matt Brisboy, Mark Herman, and Trent Koza. We share this one day to celebrate your 365 days of service. So let's enjoy tonight. Thank you very much, and stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you, Will. So now for our awards. So it's going to be my pleasure to introduce our chief. He's been up here once before, so I think he's got a little bit of experience doing this, but I'm going to go through his, well, it's about 3/4 of a page of a bio. I hope he doesn't get too embarrassed. He's actually a pretty modest guy, so bear with me here, Chief. Except for the cat in the tree thing, yeah. So Chief Duncan oversees fire operations, emergency medical services, marine operations, and community education, including the fire department CERT program, which we have probably one of the #1 CERT programs in the country, which we just had a very successful emergency disaster preparedness expo with 2 weeks ago at our Civic Green there. We had our the Green Eco Expo and the City Disaster Preparedness Expos. It was a big success. Of course, anytime you have a petting zoo, it's going to be a success. So we did bring the petting zoo out. Chip Duncan began his career in 1986 as a seasonal firefighter for the Department of Forestry, CAL FIRE. He's a 31-year veteran of the fire service with 31 years serving Newport Beach Fire Department. During his time here, how does that work? You worked here for 31 years and you worked for Department of Forestry. Is that more than 31? 34 years. Oh, we got a typo. 34 years. 62? What? I didn't say to add it. He's a 31-year veteran of the fire service with 34-year veteran of the fire service with 31 years serving the Newport Beach Fire Department. During his time here, he has worked as a firefighter, fire paramedic, fire captain, fire battalion chief, and assistant chief of fire operations. He understands and appreciates the unique challenges of managing emergencies in an all-risk environment. He is grateful for the opportunity to lead a department steeped in tradition, filled with history, and vested in the community it serves. Furthermore, he will continually look to maintain and improve best-in-class service delivery for those who live and visit to our beautiful city. A quote from the chief: "Our operating principles will continue to be safety, service, and professionalism. Safety always and uncompromising for the public and ourselves. Service to help and benefit those we serve, no call is too small. Professionalism, always act with good judgment and polite behavior to all we encounter, both internally and externally. I personally am excited about the future of our fire department. I give you our fire chief, Chip Duncan."
Well, 2 tough acts to follow. Mayor Pro Tem O'Neill, thank you for those kind words. Steve, thanks for not slaughtering me on the cat in the tree thing. I've never taken a cat out of the tree, but I have taken a parrot out of the tree, and that's a very interesting story for later. All right. So on behalf of all the men and women of the Newport Beach Fire Department, I'd like to thank you all for taking time in your busy schedule to join us tonight to celebrate some very special people. We're extremely fortunate, too, to be hosted again by Debbie Snavely and her staff here at the Newport Beach Marriott. So please let's give them a hand. This event is amazing. This is the 21st anniversary of this event, and this event originally started as a black tie dinner. So whoever changed it to this, thank you very much. Also, a big thank you to my fellow Commodores, DJ Martin. And literally, DJ is true. He started planning this thing last year. He pulled me aside and says, "Chip, I got the idea for next year. We're going to do this and do that." And then, man, he is like full steam ahead. This guy is a powerhouse. So thank you, DJ. Gary Sherwin, another guy who was always on top of it, getting things moving, getting things done. And then Caliber Collision, thank you so much for your sponsorship because you make this happen. So thank you all very much. So now it's time to get down to business, why we're here tonight. And one of the things that we struggle with every year when we start planning this, relatively early, we're getting better. We're not doing the last minute like we used to do, but really getting our folks to give us the feedback to see who has done what this year so we can honor those folks out there, make sure we recognize all the things going on. I'm sure that we are not going to recognize every fantastic thing that's gone on because our people are pretty humble. They don't report those things. So what you're seeing tonight is just a small segment of what goes on out there. So one of the things that we kind of take for granted in emergency operations, fire and lifeguards, is we show up when things are chaos. Our job is to sort order out of chaos. So some of the things you're going to see tonight is some of our folks showing up on emergencies, sorting order from chaos, delivering that level of service that the folks here in town expect, and we're proud to deliver that level of service. We take great pride in that. But some of the other things that we're going to acknowledge tonight that we're moving back a little bit. Steve mentioned about safety service professionalism. If you look at our rigs, our lifeguard trucks, that sticker is on all of our rigs or our lifeguard vehicle, that safety service professionalism. For lack of a better term, that to us in the fire department is like Semper Fidelis is to a Marine. That's kind of our operating principles. Our folks know what that means. So tonight we're going to recognize some of the folks out there that exemplify safety service professionalism, maybe not the same level as a life-saving level, but things they've done to make this community better, make their job better, or make the profession better. So we're going to recognize those folks too tonight. So actually, as I'm standing up here, I was thinking about the last time I saw Michelle Geely was we had a helicopter sticking out of a building. And I started thinking more and more about this. This is the first time I've actually been with Michelle when something's not on fire or something's crashed into something. So this is really a first for me. So we're very fortunate to have Michelle with us tonight. So let me give you a little intro on Michelle. Michelle joined KCAL in 1990 as the Orange County reporter, and she's loved it ever since. She now reports from the field from both KCAL 9 and CBS 2. Michelle attended UCLA and transferred her junior to USC to join the broadcast journalism. Boy, that's conflicted. This crowd. Upon graduation, Michelle landed her first job as a reporter in Palm Springs. From there, she was off to Santa Barbara on to CNN for further reporting assignments. Michelle's busy career has included stories from the Laguna Beach fires, I was there, the LA riots, I almost went, and the abduction of Samantha Ryan and many other important events. Michelle has received many prestigious honors, including 2 Emmy Awards, wow, a Golden Mike, and a National Clarion Award for the Best Television Spot News. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michelle Geely.
Thank you so much. I am so happy to be so close to home. If we threw a rock, if the chief threw a rock, we'd be at home for me. And also really to look out into the audience and see so many friends and firefighters and lifeguards who probably wish I wasn't there half the time, but who are so kind to me and so professional. So I want to thank you all for that. This is one of my favorite things to do in my free time, MC award events like this, to honor our fabulous public servants here in Orange County. And I love, of course, giving back to my city, Newport Beach. I am going on my 23rd year here living in Newport, and the watch commander here at the PD can attest to that because he hears from me about every other day. Yeah, I'm always calling about something. What's going on PCH? She's like, hold on, Michelle. My youngest, Catherine, who is now a senior at CDM, was a junior guard fanatic. She was the one who waited by the door to grab the new backpack with the cool design, and we would run to the monogram store to put her name on the towel. She loved guards. She's now 17 years old. And she was the first one always during junior guards to raise her hand and say, tap my shoulder first, because for those of you who don't know, when you jump off the pier, which is, I don't even know how high, but it's frightful, 20, 30 feet, the guards have to tap you and then you're allowed to jump into the water. So she was always the first one, which was a little bit unique for a girl. I am not nearly as good of a swimmer as my daughter, Catherine, is, but I have spent many, many days, as I hope some of you have seen, down at the beach doing live shots. I'm at the pier all the time, and I'm also at the wedge. And when I'm at the wedge, that means being hassled, usually most of the time, by the wedge crew. Not so much the younger guys, but the older guys who always say to me, Geely, get out of here. You're giving up our secret spot. I'm so angry with you. I mean, they seriously get mad at me. And of course, that makes me laugh. And I say, but I live here. You know, I'm so close to home. So anyway, I'm very, very honored to have been invited here tonight. I can't wait to share with you some of the awards. The chief is going to deal with the first part of the program, and then I get to jump in for the second part. So thank you, thank you. I love Newport Beach, and I'm just grateful that I live in a city with people like all of you. So thank you.
So the first award that we have tonight is a letter of commendation. Like I said, this year we were doing a little bit of look back to see how many of our folks kind of support that safety service professionalism mission. So the first person I'd like to call up to the podium is firefighter paramedic Jeff Cathy. Jeff?
I got a call.
He's on a call? Perfect. Couldn't have planned that better. Good job, guys. So since he's not here, let's talk about him. So Jeff Cathy was instrumental in developing a thing called sidewalk CPR. You may have heard of this. It's kind of a down and dirty 2-minute training to teach people how to do CPR. And the way that we do CPR is a little bit different than bystander CPR. Bystander CPR focuses more on compressions because people don't particularly want to do ventilations. They don't want to do the mouth-to-mouth. So he took this and he ran with it. He and our EMS division chief, Kristen Thompson, who's out here, that's kind of been their passion. And they've had a lot of success with this. We've rolled it in, and our CERT folks support this too. So it's kind of branched out. So the CPR education program has increased our patient survival rates here in the local area by 62%. So if you're gonna have a heart attack and go to cardiac arrest, you wanna do it here in Newport Beach, okay? So the key thing here too is that our community is much more educated, and honestly, to all kidding aside, that education is important. If you haven't got CPR training, please go out and get CPR training. That really makes a difference. All the studies that they've done on CPR shows that early CPR really changes the positive outcomes for patients. It takes us, we get there fast, but that little extra help you give us before we get there really makes a big difference. So Jeff is really instrumental in developing this sidewalk CPR, so we're giving him a letter of commendation for this. It's well deserved. He put a lot of time and energy in it. Even though he's not here, let's give him a round of applause. All right, one of these guys better be here because they're not on duty tonight. Okay, so next one we have is a unit citation. So the next individual I'd like to call up is Captain Dan Chapman, who I know is out here. He's a line EMT up north somewhere. John Testa, fire apparatus engineer, and firefighter paramedic Jeremiah Martin. Repping for the whole crew, right? Yep. All right. So this unit citation goes to the crew of Engine 64. They were assigned to the Canyon 2 fire in Anaheim earlier this year. Actually, it was the one from last October, right? Excuse me. So Engine 64 responded to cover Anaheim. Mayor Pro Tem O'Neill talked about our strike teams. We use our strike teams. They go all over the place. They even go local, and they got activated as a strike team. They sent them to cover actually a fire station, Station 10 in Weir Canyon in Anaheim. So the Anaheim folks were out on a fire. They were covering for that crew while they were out. Well, the fire got so big, they started pulling the resources in that covered the fire station. Engine 64 was part of the cover assignment. So it was a fast-moving brush fire. Like you know, they lost structures up there. They performed a lot of evacuations. And one of the things that happens with evacuations, things that escalate very quickly, our law enforcement does a really good job, but it's really hard to get people to leave their homes. Very difficult. So Engine 64 helped out with getting people evacuated. They got them out of there. While they're doing the evacuation, they received a call for a fire alarm in a residence up the street from where they were located. The house bordered the 241 toll road. The fire was at the back of their house and had already burned the trees and pool equipment on the property. So they basically got there when the house was just starting to catch on fire. They got there in the nick of time. The crew safely extinguished the fire on the property, checked the residence to ensure the fire did not spread. Once the home was safe, they responded to priority radio traffic coming from the cul-de-sac below, so from here down to here. So they were moving and grooving, going all over the place. So again, they had to coordinate another firefight. They stopped the fire from burning up a second home. So that's 2 homes with 1 engine. We typically would put 5 engines in a neighborhood. They had 2 neighborhoods and 1 engine, so they were doing a little extra work there. So Captain Chapman, firefighter paramedic Martin, and fire apparatus engineer Testa worked safely avoiding wall collapses, roof collapses, glass, falling glass, apparatus driving, police cars driving around in the smoke, which gets kind of chaotic. So the crew saved multiple lives and property and helped out the Orange County community. So basically this is the service component here. They definitely deliver a high level of service with 1 engine just doing multiple back-to-back things. So think on their feet. So we're gonna give these guys a unit citation. So thank you to Engine 64. All right, the next one out here is on the lifeguard side of the house. So this is also unit citation, is for Skeeter Leeper. Skeeter, come up here. So on February 11th, 2018, at approximately 6 a.m., anglers on the Newport Beach Pier called 911 to report a swimmer in distress. Newport Beach police officers arrived on scene and deployed a life ring tethered to the pier. Newport Beach firefighters and lifeguards responded to the scene. Lifeguard Captain George Skeeter Leeper jumped off the end of the pier to make a rescue. The victim was brought safely to shore. Newport Beach fire personnel treated and transported the patient. The sea conditions and cold water temperature make it dangerous to enter the ocean without proper training. Hypothermia can quickly set in. I'll tell you right now is, whenever the weather is bad, it's victory at sea, it's breaking over the top of the pier, things are ugly, this is the guy that always shows up. He's that guy that goes in the water. If you fell off the pier, the guy decided to go for a swim at 6 o'clock in the morning in February, not the smartest thing. Skeeter's the guy that's gonna show up and get you out of the water. So when he shows up, we know we have a very experienced waterman who knows the ocean, who's gonna make that safe rescue. So this is really an amazing rescue, and he's done more than one of these. I don't know why they picked this specific one. This is like 3 of 3 that he did last year, so I'm not sure, but they're all legitimate rescues. So, Skeeter, thank you for your excellent job, and continue to carry on. Thank you. Oh. All right, so an award of merit. This one's a little bit different, and this one's a little unique. And think back to our bystander CPR. So we're giving this award to our administrative manager, Angela Crespi. Come on up here, Angela. One of our admin staff. She's not a firefighter. She's not a lifeguard. She pays our bills and makes sure that we don't get in trouble with finance, which is a big task sometimes. So on December 9th, 2017, Angela was out at In-N-Out in Lake Forest over the weekend. She noticed a man lying on the ground. She offered assistance to his wife, next to the man, and knelt down to check on the man. He was not breathing, he was unresponsive, so she began CPR with chest compressions, sidewalk CPR. She continued to administer CPR until help arrived from Engine 22 OCFA, which is just about 3 blocks down the street from where the In-N-Out is, and it probably seemed like an eternity for them to show up, right? As you're doing CPR. They took over patient care, they administered shocks, and they were able to obtain a pulse and transport the man to the hospital. So again, bystander CPR, we had a positive outcome, got the pulses back. The big thing here as part of the story is she's there all by herself. Okay, you've all been in In-N-Out. When is there like nobody in In-N-Out? Never, right? Okay? The only person that lent a hand to this person in cardiac arrest was Angela. And of course, as she starts doing CPR, then they all come to the woodwork and want to critique her on how she's doing CPR. So she not only had to do CPR, she had to put up with the peanut gallery telling her how she should be doing CPR. So that adds to this award of merit. So Angela, thank you so very much for stepping up and being a good citizen and representing the fire department. Thank you. All right, another award of merit. Jeff Pratt, could you please come up here? Jeff. On July 12, 2017, off-duty seasonal lifeguard Jeff Pratt was with his daughter on 30th Street when he saw 2 swimmers caught in a rip current and struggling. Jeff sent his daughter to shore and swam to help the swimmers. A beachgoer offered to help Jeff, and both were pulled out by a fast-moving current. Neither Jeff nor the beachgoer had fins or a buoy, which is definitely a problem when you're trying to make a rescue. After 10 minutes in the water, the beachgoer grew tired and stated he was going to drown. So now one of your helpers becomes a victim. Seasonal lifeguard Carter Walton was locking up his lifeguard tower when he when someone notified him of the incident. Carter responded to assist the group to shore. Jeff yelled for 3 surfers to help with their boards. All 3 victims made it to a board. Jeff went back to shore to call lifeguard dispatch for backup. Jeff returned to the water to help Carter bring the victims ashore. The victims were fatigued and otherwise okay. The beachgoer swallowed a lot of water and became exhausted. The beachgoer was treated with oxygen and transported to Hoag Hospital. So once again, off duty, somebody who's in trouble stepped up and helped somebody else off duty, which is a pretty frequent occurrence with our lifeguards. So, Jeff, thank you very much. Congratulations. Okay, the next one is our Life Saving Award, and I'd like to call it Firefighter Paramedic Steve Martin. So as Steve's making his way up here, on April 11th, 2018, off-duty paramedic Steve Martin was sitting at home with his son when he heard a knock at the door. His neighbor had a man lying in his driveway who wasn't breathing. Paramedic Martin started compressions and continued until the Huntington Beach paramedics arrived and were able to regain a pulse. Steve's son was so surprised, once again, no one else stopped to help. Many people don't know what to do in these types of circumstances. Again, CPR. So Steve's at home, minding his own business, and they knock on the door, and there he is. He goes out and helps out off duty. So again, stepped up, level that even to the citizens of Huntington Beach. I got to talk to Chief Segura about that. You know, we're helping those guys out, but that was the right thing to do. So off duty. So Steve Martin, thank you for your service. Great job. The next award is Life Saving Award. John Mitchell, come on up here. We were just up here last year, man. All right. On March 6, 2018, lifeguard Captain John Mitchell was patrolling on Coronel Del Mar Beach at Tower 5 when he was dispatched to an unknown medical call at the Coronel Del Mar Lifeguard Headquarters building. Captain Mitchell noticed a group of people at the volleyball courts performing CPR on a beachgoer. While Captain Mitchell prepared his medical equipment and applied an AED, no shock was given. He began treating the patient with oxygen. The patient was still unresponsive, and Captain Mitchell and a bystander started CPR. Newport Beach firefighters from Engine 64 arrived and placed the patient on the autopulse, and the patient was transported to Hoag Hospital due to the response of our CPR and medic support. The patient is still alive. So we are presenting John Mitchell with a life-saving award for this call. Thank you, John, for your service. All right, this is the big one, another life-saving award. I'm going to call up Kyle Lawrence. And Kyle, is your mom here? Bring your mom with you. I think she came from a long ways. Bring her up here. Keegan Beavers, Wyatt Muller, and Andy Matsuyama coming up here. Are we missing some pizza?
So this is Kyle's mom, and I'm Wyatt.
No, Wyatt, you're Kyle now. You're the stand-in son.
I'm the only one who could be here tonight.
They can't read your name tag. You could have totally pulled it off. Okay, so we don't have everybody here tonight, but I know that Kyle's mom is here. So Kyle's mom, thanks for coming. On July 17, 2017, seasonal lifeguard Kyle Lawrence, Tower 74, was alerted to trouble in the river about halfway to the bridge, where we get a lot of calls down that river. That river is an interesting place. Kyle found a drowning victim floating face down in the water. The victim's brother and father were unable to get to the victim out of the water on their own because of a swift current flowing from the incoming tide. Kyle pulled the victim to the riverbank, discovered the victim was pulseless, and began CPR. A bystander offered assistance to perform mouth-to-mouth while Kyle did compressions. SEAL lifeguards Keegan Beavers and Wyatt Muller arrived and set up the AED. The AED advised for a shock, and they delivered the shock. After one more cycle of CPR, the victim was responsive. Lifeguard officer Andy Matsuyama arrived and administered oxygen and helped place the victim on the back where Newport Beach firefighters arrived and worked together alongside our lifeguards. The patient was transported to Hoag Hospital with a pulse. So basically, they saved the person's life through teamwork. And that got to include Hoag Hospital, because I know Hoag Hospital is here too. So thanks to everybody for a job well done. So congratulations. Go ahead.
Yeah, you want to? I know.
Keep going. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
He's in Arizona. That's what I heard. Okay. Well, thanks for picking up the word for him. Okay, just to clarify, Mom lives here. Kyle's in Arizona at college. Okay. Yeah, I know. All right. So, I've always wanted to say this, so now's my big chance. Back to you in the studio, Michelle.
the chief doesn't have this personality when I see him out on all my shoots. This guy is hysterical. You could be a speed reader too. We're gonna be done here in about 3 minutes. Okay, once again, let's have a big round of applause, please, for all of our special department recognition awards. And now I would like to introduce the Fire and Lifeguard Employees of the Year. Please help me welcome our very first honoree. He is Seasonal Lifeguard of the Year, Trent Kaza. Trent grew up in Huntington Beach and was introduced to the ocean at a young age as a Huntington Beach junior lifeguard. He was awarded Safety Aide of the Year for 2011. That same year, he earned his black belt in Aikido. Trent attended Edison High School, where he swam and played water polo and received the Scholar Athlete Award every single year. Trent was hired in 2013 as a seasonal lifeguard for the city of Newport Beach. While still in high school, Trent earned his emergency medical technician license. After graduating, he worked as an EMT for a private ambulance company in LA County. Trent is currently enrolled in the Santa Ana College Fire Program. He's finishing his last semester, and he hopes to attend the Fire Academy in the spring of 2019. Trent wants to transfer to Cal State Fullerton or Long Beach to earn his BA in Business Administration with an emphasis in management. Trent has experienced a vast variety of medical calls and rescues throughout his lifeguarding career. This summer, he was involved in many challenging and positive outcome calls. In his second year as a lifeguard too, he had the opportunity to work on a rescue boat. On one very busy Saturday, his rescue boat was dispatched to a vessel in distress off the coast of Laguna Beach. The boat was taking on water at a steady rate, and with his training and lifeguarding knowledge, he and the rescue crew were able to get the vessel back to Newport Harbor without loss of life or property, all while working alongside multiple agencies. This call, like many others, required a high level of leadership, teamwork, and trust. Trent exemplifies these qualities. He's a strong leader and a great mentor to his peers. In Trent's free time, he enjoys being with friends and family, dirt bike riding, working out, and going to the river. He hopes to continue lifeguarding as long as possible, giving back each year his vast knowledge and experience to the new lifeguards. Trent continues to strive to serve his community with the utmost professionalism. So congratulations tonight to Trent Kaza on being honored as Seasonal Lifeguard of the Year. They all look the same, such cute clothes. Okay.
You all get that? Yeah, I got it.
Wow.
Yeah, I got it. It's like fire cabin training right there.
Our next honoree is for Lifeguard Supervisor of the Year. He is Mark Herman. Mark was born in where else? Newport Beach, yay, at Hoag Hospital, and raised in Irvine. He is one of 3 children. In 1997, Mark became a junior lifeguard instructor, and looking back, this was a key moment in his life that would shape his career. In 1998, Mark graduated from University High School and shortly thereafter began his career lifeguarding. He began in the infamous Division 1A West Newport. There's a story there. I need to know what that story is. But anyway, after a few seasons, he began to move around and spent time in each beach division. While working as a lifeguard, Mark studied at the University of California, Irvine, where he played water polo for the legendary coach Ted Newland. Mark was a member of the 1989 NCAA championship team, and in 1993, Mark graduated with a double major in social science and psychology. Mark later attended and graduated from Pepperdine University with a master's degree in psychology in 1997. In 2003, Mark worked as a lifeguarding dispatcher. Mark used his expertise as part of the development and implementation team for our Lifeguard CAD, or Computer Assisted Dispatch System, in 2015. Through his experience, he is a lifeguard expert for the CAD system, and he joined a delegation from the Newport Beach Police Department at the annual Superior User Conference this past spring. Mark was a dispatcher for 3 years before taking a full-time job as a lifeguard lieutenant at Lake Mission Viejo. In 2010, he decided he'd been away from the coast too long, and he came back to Newport Beach. He took a full-time job working nights at the Irvine Improv so he could lifeguard as much as possible during the day. In 2013, Mark was recognized as the Seasonal Lifeguard of the Year. Mark was recently promoted to lifeguard captain within the last few years and finished his 3rd year as one of the Division II supervisors. Mark's experience with CAD got him selected as one of the lifeguard telestaff coordinators. Mark enjoys spending time traveling, and he recently celebrated his 19th wedding anniversary with his wife, Yvonne. I hope she's here. Mark and Yvonne live in South County with their children, Sienna and Kyland. This summer, Kyland was in the Junior Lifeguard program for the first time. Joining Kyland and his group on some of their events reminded Mark of his 5 years as an instructor for junior lifeguards. His skills and ability to get people together to solve problems and being a hard worker are the reasons he has been selected as the Lifeguard Supervisor of the Year. Put our hands together, everybody, for Mark. Mark, do you want to say a couple things?
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you to Michelle, and thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this evening's events. It's an honor to be recognized as the 2018 Lifeguard Supervisor of the Year, especially considering some of the achievements of my coworkers this past season, like Captain Leapers, paddleboard rescue inside the Santa Ana River, Captain Yasenda, rescuing an injured surfer off the rocks at 56th Street during high tide and heavy surf, or the dynamic duo of Captain Ure and Captain Matsuyama, who were able to extract victims off of Ladder Rock before they incurred a $2,500 helicopter ride. And Captain Moore, who was able to get divers in the water less than 3 minutes after being dispatched to a missing swimmer inside the harbor. I'd like to think that it's my actions in the field that got me up here tonight, like handling 6 cervical injuries in a single day, 4 of which were transported to the hospital for mechanism and deficits, and another, a coworker, who I'm happy to say is 3 weeks now without having to wear a C-collar. It might have been my ability to realign shifts and keep the beach fully covered, as well as keeping our new, highly successful Lido Bridge Tower staffed when we started losing seasonal employees to full-time jobs in other fields, as well as them returning to school. However, I believe that I'm up here tonight because I was tasked with taming the newly updated system of staffing. And for those of you that are in the fire service that are here tonight, you will understand the numerous phone calls in the middle of the night or shifts that you cannot accept. Telestaff is a monster, and it's caused havoc. And I just want to thank all my coworkers for recognizing my efforts in that aspect, and supporting me and filling for me out in the field when I was stuck indoors all day on the computer or telephone trying to solve staffing issues. I want to thank my coworkers for challenging me in a positive manner to stay physically fit and up to date on my skills and techniques. It's their unique skill set that we all bring to the organization that make us such a successful team. I want to thank my parents in the audience tonight, Bob and Darlene, who modeled for me the behaviors of a good parent, spouse, sibling, friend, coworker, and person in general. Thank you for showing me what hard work and dedication can achieve. The successes I've experienced in life are due in part to the opportunities you provided me. Thank you. I also want to thank my wife, Yvonne, and our children, Sienna and Kylan, for their patience and support in my quest to become a full-time lifeguard. Thank you for accepting my absences throughout the summers, especially when I was working 2 jobs and missing holidays and birthdays, and when I wouldn't get home for several hours past my shift because people simply wouldn't leave the beach. Thank you for your understanding when I would return home in a bad mood after a long day because I had to deal with 4 simultaneous medical aids at the Balboa Pier. I believe one of the radio calls from that transmission was patient 2 is being assisted to their vehicle for self-transport. Patient 1 is being tended to by medics, and patient 3 has been removed from the water line and is being assessed. Shortly after that, I had to politely explain to beachgoers that no, sorry, you can't borrow my shovel. And in fact, you're not allowed to dig a pit simply because all the fire rings are taken. Also, glass and alcohol aren't permitted on the beach. So you're probably gonna wanna dispose of those beers you're drinking. And please, if you could get leashes on your 3 pit bulls, it would be appreciated. Plus, those highly explosive propane cylinders, I hope they're not for barbecues because you're not allowed to cook on the beach. Then, watching in my rearview mirror as they throw out 4 easy ups and disregard everything I just told to them. So Yvonne, Sienna, Kylan, I can honestly say that spending time with you is much better than a day at the beach. Thank you, love you.
Okay, another round of applause for Mark as he gets his photo taken with the chief. Our next honoree for the evening is our Civilian of the Year. Please help me welcome Matt Brisbois. Matt Brisbois is a life safety specialist too with the Newport Beach Fire Department. Matt began his career with the fire department in 1996 as a seasonal ocean lifeguard. Over the past 22 years, Matt has served as a tower lifeguard, junior lifeguard instructor and group leader, administrative analyst, community preparedness coordinator, and most recently as a life safety specialist. Matt was awarded with the Lifeguard Rookie of the Year in 1996, the FEMA Individual and Community Preparedness Award for Outstanding CERT Program Initiatives in 2012, and the White House Champions of Change Award in both 2013 and 2015. Matt has been responsible for the fire department's Community Emergency Response Team CERT program since 2006. He manages all of the fire department's community outreach efforts to homeowners associations, businesses, and schools. And he also serves as the department's public information officer. Matt lives in Laguna Beach with his wife, Francesca, and their 4 children, Braden, Maverick, Bella Kai, and Lulu. And if those aren't the best kid names on the planet, I don't know what is. Congratulations.
Thank you, Michelle. I'm used to saying no comment when she comes and chases after me.
And the second thing I'm used to saying is the chief will talk to you when he's ready to speak with you, Michelle, but he's going to speak with me first prior to speaking to you. So I'd like to first start out by thanking Steve Rosansky and the Newport Beach Chamber of Commerce. I've had the pleasure of knowing Steve for my entire 22-year career in the city, and I cannot think of a Newport Beach resident that is more supportive of the Newport Beach city employees than Steve Rosansky and everything that he's done over the years to really support all of the employees in Newport. So thank you, Steve, for putting on another wonderful event this year. I'd also like to thank the Newport Beach City Council, both present and the past councils, for being progressive and constantly thinking of public safety and putting our resources and our staffing towards the safety of the residents here in Newport Beach. And now, since this is my opportunity, as many of you know, I have never been a microphone I did not like, and so I'll try to be as brief as possible in this speech, but I do have a lot of people that I would like to thank in kind of getting through things, so I'll try to be as brief as possible. As many of you know, in city government, you don't really get anywhere without the team that's around you and the people that are around you. And when you get hired on in the city of Newport Beach at 17 years old, you quickly realize you don't make it to 41 years old without a big team around you that have gotten you there every step of the way. And so I would like to thank a few people here today that have really been instrumental in my career. First off, I'd like to thank Lifeguard Captain John Mitchell, who without his expertise and mentoring earlier in my career, I can tell you I definitely would not be standing here today. I'd like to thank Lifeguard Battalion Chief Mike Halfide for all of his help in mentoring me over the years. I'd like to thank our Fire Chief, Chief Chip Duncan, because I can definitively tell you I would definitely not be standing here today if it weren't for his leadership and support over the years. In a position like mine, without a chief like Chief Duncan, it makes the job that much more difficult. And I always love when I show up to work today and he tells me, he goes, Matt, I've given you the leadership direction, now go and execute. He doesn't ask me anything else. He just knows that we're going to go get the job done, and he doesn't really look into the details of how I get it done, which is advantageous too most of the time, because I don't really need him looking into how I get things done sometimes.
You've been watching a little closer now.
I'd also like to thank our Assistant Fire Chief, Jeff Boyles, for all of his support. Firefighter Bobby Salerno, who really represents all of us tirelessly year in and year out. Our Emergency Services Coordinator, Katie Ng, who I have had the pleasure of working with for the last 15 years and who I know is so dedicated to preparing this community, and day in and day out, the work that she does is really, really exemplary in this community. I get a front seat every day to the greatest emergency chess match you've ever seen. I get to watch the heroes in our fire, police, and lifeguard departments run out on calls, and I get the best front row seat next to him when we pull up, which gets you a lot of notoriety when you pull up with Chief Duncan. Everyone, acts a little differently real quick. But I get to watch as our fire, police, and lifeguards seamlessly interact on a daily basis. And I can't tell you, after sitting and watching this for my entire career, the public really has no idea how difficult those jobs are and what they do day to day, being away from their families, coming and serving the needs of this community. It's remarkable. And for me, it's an honor to represent the firefighters and the lifeguards in this community, and I'll always really be proud of my role in working with all the fire and lifeguards in this city. Most importantly, I would like to thank my wife. I know that many of you here, it's not a surprise that in city government, our families make huge sacrifices for us to be here. And in my case, I would definitely be in a totally different situation if my wife weren't as supportive as she is in me coming out here. I do not know how she manages 4 children, twins. Struggle is real. I have a honey badger as one of my children, total real struggle. But I come home every night and there's dinner on the table and my 4 kids are seemingly well behaved, and I don't know how she does it. And I always joke, I think it's a lot harder to manage these 4 than it is 552 CERT volunteers, and one day I'm going to line up the CERT volunteers to help her out with my children. So thank you, Francesca, for everything that you do, and to my parents and things for everything that they do as well. And lastly, I would like to thank the Newport Beach community. There's not many positions that I get to go to 195 HOAs, 2,800 businesses, 17 schools. For the last 17 years, I've seen everything under the sun in this city. The only people that go to more events than I do in Newport is our city council, and I cannot imagine the number of events they go to in comparison to how many that I have to go to. And I'd really like to thank you all for remembering the legacy of Ben Carlson. I know that many members of his foundation are here tonight, and I could not be more proud of how this community has stepped up and represented Ben for giving the ultimate sacrifice in giving his life and serving this community. And every time I go to Lifeguard headquarters and I see the statue, I really am proud of how this community has responded to Ben's legacy. And so thank you for remembering Ben and never forgetting the sacrifice that he made serving this community. Thank you.
And our final honoree for the evening is our Firefighter of the Year. Please help me welcome Joseph Harrison. Joe Harrison has been a firefighter paramedic for 14 years. He's worked as a terrorist liaison officer, instructor for the Fire Operations 101 program, instructor for the CERT program, and instructor for the school emergency response team. He served on the incident management system as a committee member and as a committee member on the fire department's centennial. Joe is known for having a passion for serving others on and off duty. This passion is what led Joseph to create the Fire Santa program in 2006. The idea was to create a complete Christmas experience throughout the entire month of December for a family who would otherwise go without. This program grew quickly and took on a life of its own, requiring Joseph, along with the entire Newport Beach Fire Department, to step up and help in many other ways. Throughout the years, Joseph and the fire department have rallied this community into making significant changes in the lives of families they have served. Most notably, in 2015, their campaign was in the national spotlight. They served a family, a widow and 6 children. The husband and father was a San Bernardino terrorist attack victim. Joseph has an associate's degree in paramedicine and a BS in business finance from Loyola Marymount University. He's received multiple citations for life-saving efforts and an award of merit for an ocean rescue. He has been a 3-time nominee for the Firefighter of the Year Award and a finalist in the city's prestigious Dorothy Palin Award. Joseph enjoys spending time with his wife and 3 children. Please put your hands together and congratulate Joseph for Firefighter of the Year.
Hi. Way to make me follow up Matt Brisboy. This is my first speech ever, and it's probably his 1,001st. I want to say thank you to everybody who put this dinner on tonight. I can tell you that it means a lot to every one of us. I want to say thank you to my peers. Getting an award from you guys means the most. And like I said, I told you, I'm not really good in front of a mic. The goal that I have tonight in front of this mic is to cast a light of recognition where it belongs, and that is back onto the group. The group being everybody within this fire department, from Chief Duncan to everybody within fire administration, to all of us throughout the ranks, down to our newest members every year, to, just as importantly, the fire families, especially the wives. The Fire Santa program, like Michelle said, was started initially with the idea of giving a total Christmas experience to these families who otherwise wouldn't get anything. We initiated that, and then what we found out in the first year, the first meeting of the first year, was that although extremely appreciative of what we were offering, Christmas was still at the bottom of their list as far as priorities relative to what they were going through. We're meeting with people who were facing immediate evictions and having 3 to 6 children. The inability to put dinner on the table, get their kids to school, and usually a common thread between most of the families was losing, or if not already lost, an immediate family member, whether it be a parent, a child, anywhere from something like cancer to a terrorist attack. And every year that task got a little bit more difficult, complex, and every year this group surpassed our own expectations. It's been remarkable. The one thing I also want to tell you too, is as awesome as this program is that it is one program out of a long list of a myriad of programs, projects, individual efforts by all the people in this department every year. And it is merely an extension of a long-lasting culture of benevolence, primarily which was founded by, I think, the retirees in the audience. We need to thank them. So, I told you, I'm not good at speeches. I'm very honored. This is certainly one of the highlights of my career, and I just want to say that the biggest highlight of my career is watching the real results that this group of people have put together for 12 years, and watching how our tiny community of firefighters, family members, the wives, and everybody associated with this department has come together to serve this community in Newport Beach beyond the scope of firefighters, or just being a firefighter. So if you get a chance, if you're sitting next to any one of our guys that are here on duty, any one of us that are off duty tonight, or even any one of our wives, give them thanks, because they have made a huge difference. Thank you.
All right, Joseph, congratulations. And I am going to hand the mic over to the gentleman running this program tonight. But before I leave, I just want to thank you so much. I've enjoyed being with you all in such a calm, beautiful environment. Normally, when I see most of you, my hair is literally on fire, trying to figure out what's going on out the latest breaking news scene and get myself on TV. So thank you again for having me. And I also want to say, as a resident of Newport Beach, I am so proud to be just one cog in the wheel here. I love our city. It's so safe, and all of you are so professional. I want to welcome our new city manager who is here this evening. And I look forward to many, many more years in this beautiful place. We are all so blessed to be here. And anyway, I hope I see you again. And I want to take one quick shot from my Twitter really fast before I leave, okay? Everybody smile. And Chief, I'm going to hand it over to you. Or Steve, are you taking over? Steve or the Chief? I just need a couple Twitter photos. Okay, here we go.
Selfie. Thank you, Michelle. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Wow, what an evening. How about a big round of applause? I want to see a standing ovation for the award winners tonight, for the firefighters, lifeguards, everybody up. Standing ovation. Come on. Standing ovation. This has been a fabulous evening. I want to say thank you again to the Newport Beach Marriott Hotel and Spa, their staff, Debbie Snavely, wherever you are, thank you so much. Gary Sherwin, thank you for supporting the event. All you people for buying seats and spending an evening with us, thank you for coming, and God bless, and we'll see you soon.